and today I'll be explaining an anime series titled Welcome to Demon School. Spoilers lie ahead. Now, let's jump into it. There's an alternate realm called the Netherworld where the demons reside. The demon king ruling over the Netherworld disappeared, leaving behind a vacant throne for some time. Who the demon king will be is a big question mark. While working on a tuna fishing boat to provide for his scumbag parents, Uruma is surprised with a float of tuna rolling in. As soon as time stops, a demon called Sullivan emerges, abducts Uruma, and takes him to the Netherworld. On the way there, Sullivan reveals to Uruma his parents sold his soul. Desperately wanting a grandson, Sullivan begs Uruma to be his new adopted grandson, to which Uruma reluctantly agrees, being the pushover who always says yes. Exuberant, Sullivan gives his grandson clothes, food, and a spacious, magnificent room. Opera. Sullivan's butler is quite skeptical of adopting a human being. The next morning, Sullivan takes Uruma to Babel's demon school. Sitting amongst devils, Uruma is quite uneasy. At the opening ceremony, the whole school sings the school song revealing how demons revel in eating humans and sucking their blood. Much to Uruma's surprise, Sullivan is the director of the school and delivers a speech only about his newfound grandson. To further Uruma's shock, he is chosen as an honor student though clueless about what this school is. Being an honor student, Uruma must deliver a speech. After his grandfather secretly gives him a paper, Uruma unknowingly reads a speech of forbidden spells, thus infuriating the audience. As it turns out, a furious Asmodeus, who was supposed to be the honor student, challenges Uruma to a duel, since Uruma stole the spotlight from him. Wanting to see how on earth Uruma is superior to him, Asmodeus aggressively attacks Uruma with his fire attacks. Scared out of his mind, Uruma manages to dodge every single attack for 20 minutes straight, exhausting Asmodeus. As it turns out, Uruma became a master of dodging every kind of danger during his time on Earth, which is what the demons call overwhelming crisis evasion capability. Uruma apologizes to Asmodeus, who even finds apologizing condescending, which frustrates him more. Asmodeus conjures a fire sword to tear Uruma apart and end this duel already, but after Uruma dodges, he is about to hit a spectator. However, Uruma stops him and accidentally welcomes him to Suplex City, leading to his accidental victory, blowing the spectators' minds, thus becoming a rock star. According to the demon law, if a demon loses a battle, he must serve the victor. Since Asmodeus lost the duel, he happily kneels to Uruma and devotes himself to become his servant and loyal friend. The next day, Uruma wakes up to be served a great breakfast and gifted a great amount of stuff for school. At school, Asmodeus tells Uruma they're in the same group and reveals they'll be having their familiar summoning ritual where each demon summons a magical beast, which will determine his academic success and rank. At the Familiars Hall, the students are introduced to the scary teacher Caligo. As the class begins, Caligo lashes out at Uruma and describes him as a piece of trash using the spotlight his grandfather gave to him. While the students summon their mediocre familiars, Asmodeus summons a legendary Gorgon snake. When it's Uruma's turn, he performs the ritual with a smile on his face, infuriating Caligo. The card Uruma's burning had Caligo's seal on it. When the summoning occurred, Caligo himself turned into an owl, which is his familiar, thereby shocking the students. Sullivan later reveals that this cannot be undone until a year has passed, which means Caligo will be stuck with Uruma for a year. Unable to recover from the shock of being a familiar of a student he despises, Caligo became bedridden. After this incident, Uruma became more famous, and his peers knew him as the demon that turned another demon into his familiar. Later on, Uruma meets the vivacious Clara, whom Asmodeus warns Uruma not to speak to. Beside vivacious, Clara is also a childish weirdo who loves playing. She tries convincing Uruma to play with her, and Uruma says yes after Clara says please, despite Asmodeus's warnings. After some playing around, Uruma sees 3 students taking advantage of Clara by making friends with her, and have her conjure whatever they wish to eat. The next day, Clara overhears the 3 scumbags mocking her. Clara then offers Uruma to play with her. Uruma refuses but then accepts after Clara gets emotional. As the 3 boys try using her again, Clara conjures a vending machine and crushes him with it. At the cafeteria, Clara buys her snack and conjures a pocket full of money, which the stall owner considers shoplifting. Caligo shows up to defuse the situation, but Clara tricks Uruma into turning Caligo into an owl, since Caligo is his familiar. Clara, Asmodeus, and Uruma escape the scene as the stall owner traps Caligo, demanding a compensation for the unpaid food he served. Having no sense of what friendships mean, Uruma asks Asmodeus and Clara if they're his friends, but is surprised to find out that in Netherworld there are no friendships, seeing that Asmodeus and Clara don't understand what the concept means. In a faculty meeting, Sullivan places Uruma, Asmodeus, and Clara in the misfit class for troublemakers. There, Uruma meets Sabro, whose aspiration is to become the next Demon King and who joined the misfit class after trying to beat his teacher. It is shown that demons have 10 ranks. Caligo comes in and has them race through a dangerous valley so as to determine their ranks and warns them to avoid the guardian beast. The race starts. All demons spread their wings and start flying. Having no wings, Uruma is reluctant but is pushed off the cliff by Caligo. A flock of crows pick up Uruma and drop him in the guardian's nest where its baby is, wounding its leg. After finding out human blood can heal demon injuries, Uruma uses his blood to heal the baby's wound. Grateful, the baby flies Uruma to Flag. At this time, the guardian of the Cutthroat Valley beats the crap out of Sabro. Before the fight goes any further, Irma lands and talks down the guardian by showing it its healed baby. After Asmodeus and Clara make it to the finish line, Irma and Sabro make last with the guardian's help. Following the race, each student is given their rank. Asmodeus is the 4th rank, Clara is the 3rd rank, and Sabro is the 2nd. Therefore, they all receive a rank. Irma's rank, however, is still undetermined and receives Solomon's ring. Seeing that, Sabro recalls a prophecy about the new Demon King being a foreigner, receiving Solomon's ring and making the demons his servants, which matches Irma's case. A black demon emerges from the ring and starts sucking his peers' powers and energy. Caligo decides to blow off Irma's arm to stop it. But Sullivan shows up, scolds Caligo, and soothes the demon by feeding him from his own powers. As for Irma's rank, it's immeasurable, which is why he's ranked the lowest. Given that Irma tamed the Guardian, he became more popular, getting the attention of the student council. In botany class, students learn to grow plants using their magic. While Sabro grows a flower that eats everything and calls it Destructive God, Asmodeus grows an elegant burning flower. Irma uses the magic his grandfather stored in the ring and grows a little plant. However, his grandfather forgot to adjust the magic output. The plant becomes bigger and bigger, destroying the greenhouse. Given that the plant Irma grew is a human plant, Student Council President Amory starts suspecting Irma as a human. Even though most demons don't believe humans exist, Amory does. Her family owned an old relic library, and she's obsessed with reading a manga called First Love Memories, which is a manual of human love to her. After Irma cleans up the mess he's made, he bumps into Amory. As Irma offers her a hand, Amory blushes, recalls a scene from First Love Memories, and suspects Irma is trying to make her fall for him, which makes her conclude that Irma is definitely a human. Amory gets mad and rages on him. After dropping her manga, Irma immediately recognizes it. It's revealed that Amory cannot read Japanese. She just gets excited over the pictures. Given that Irma can read Japanese, Amory drags him to her office and has him read the manga out loud for her. After finishing, Amory gives Irma her number in case she needs him. The next day at school, Amory summons Irma again, and Asmodeus is suspicious that Irma is up to something shady. After following Irma, Asmodeus starts suspecting Irma is planning to dominate the student council. While reading for Amory, Irma learns about the ambition and a student's duty of climbing the ranks, making him realize being a pushover is what stops him from having an ambition of his own. As Amory strongly advises Irma to improve himself to get a better rank, Clara storms the room to take Irma back, thinking Amory is trying to seduce him. Wanting Irma for herself, Clara takes seduction lessons, but Raim, the teacher, reveals she is not really that sexy, which upsets her. After learning some seduction techniques, Clara tries seducing Irma, but Irma thinks she's just playing around since she loves playing games. The next day, Clara tries kissing him, but Irma dodges the kiss with his dodging skills. Clara ends up in detention afterwards and gets upset after realizing she's not as attractive as she thinks she is. After Irma reveals how he thinks of her as a girl, Clara perks back up and sets on making him fall head over heels for her. While Clara takes Irma's hand and drags him with her, Raim watches from the window and observes an increase in Clara's sexiness. Before going to sleep, Irma recalls how Amory believes in him, which inspires him to improve himself and go up in ranks. Hearing about his friend's purpose, Asmodeus assures Irma he'll have his full support to rank the highest in the school. In order to rank higher, Irma needs to get a high score in a test based on the Execution Cannonball Death game. Like dodgeball, it's a game where the players have to dodge the ball and make sure it doesn't hit them. Later on, Sullivan starts practicing with his grandson and strengthens his hand to give him a better chance at catching the ball and leaves the physical training to Opera. Opera flings the balls at Irma and tells him to catch them, but Irma's instinct to dodge the ball prevents him from doing so. After a long week of practicing, Irma finally manages to catch the ball, making Opera realize Irma is really ready for the exam. The day of the exam arrives. If a player gets hit by a ball, they'll be eliminated from the game. More so, the players' ranks will increase based on the opponent they eliminate. Irma, much to his surprise, will be playing against Asmodeus. As the exam starts more like a real battle, Clara riddles her opponents by throwing multiple balls. Sabro attacks Asmodeus, who seems absent-minded, but it turned out to be a ruse after Asmodeus strikes him instead, thus eliminating him. Asmodeus and Irma remain as the last two opponents. After Asmodeus attacks him, Irma overcomes his fear, finally catches the ball and redirects the attack at Asmodeus, striking him, leading to his victory. Impressed, Caligo promotes Irma to a higher rank. Amory commends him on winning and congratulates him on finally becoming ambitious. Later on in the Misfit class, a new teacher named Robin starts teaching demons about bonding with their familiars. Therefore, he has everybody summon their familiars. Irma is a bit hesitant about it but summons his familiar, Caligo, after Robin persuades him into it. Even though this will be embarrassing, Caligo decides to make Irma the best summoner. After Caligo defeats everybody's familiars and makes Irma stand out, he rants about how familiars are violent beasts bound to their summoners by contract, not toys for horseplay, forcing Robin to reconsider his teaching style. Later on, Asmodeus invites Irma to join the Battlers, a school club where students with similar talents help each other rank higher. After Irma accepts, senior battlers start flooding and looking for freshmen to recruit, which is called the Rookie Hunt. As the senior battlers storm the place to recruit new followers, Amory surprises everybody by inviting Irma to the council's battlers. Caligo announces a 3-day trial period allowing recruiters to see if the first years they picked are qualified. Irma is confused. Being famous, he is invited to join every battler. Suddenly, Irma's ring turns on, lifts Irma and drops him on Kirio, the recruiter for the Magical Apparatus Club. This happened because Kirio's necklace was made of the same metal as Irma's ring. Later, Sullivan does some adjustments on Irma's ring, allowing him to choose the level of magic he wants to use. Irma then tests the ring at the Execution Cannonball Battler. Following that, Irma gets a text message from Amory, reminding him to visit the Council Battlers. All of a sudden, an explosion erupts nearby caused by Kirio's apparatus. After the explosion, Irma tells Amory he won't be able to attend due to the explosion. Following the explosion, Kirio takes Irma to his workplace where Irma marvels at Kirio's inventions and tells him about his goal of allowing weaker demons to fend for themselves against the stronger domineering ones. Irma asks Kirio if he would recruit him since Irma has no magic at all, to which Kirio responds that he has weaker magic powers, and someone as talented as Irma would be a great fit to the Magical Apparatus Club. Irma decides to join and convinces Clara and Asmodeus to do so. Afterward, Irma shows up at the student council room to tell Amory he joined another battler club, disappointing her. After the trial period is over, the school prepares the Battler Party where battlers welcome their new club members. Meanwhile, the 13 greatest heroes of the Netherworld meet up and show their concern over the chaos since there's no Demon King maintaining order. All of them believe that Sullivan, Levy, or Belial should be the next king. Levy and Belial nominate Sullivan, which Sullivan refuses since it'll take him away from his grandson. Henry, Amory's father, reveals a warrant was issued for Sullivan's arrest for illegally crossing into the human world. Now that Sullivan is arrested, Caligo is appointed as the acting director. As for the party, demons from different clubs have to make presentations to earn prizes or rank higher. However, the Magical Apparatus Battler Club has little budget to make a great presentation. After the great idea of fireworks strikes Irma's mind, Kirio decides to make some fireworks. In order to show Kirio what real fireworks look like, Irma asks Amory to lend him one of her manga volumes, which she refuses but then accepts. After he successfully creates fireworks, Kirio plots with a demon named Ball, who's the reason behind Sullivan's arrest, to destroy the whole school. The next day, Kirio goes to his secret workplace where he works on a machine to destroy the school and kill as many students as possible. Suddenly, Kirio is interrupted by Irma, whose ring dragged him to where Kirio's necklace is. Kirio tells Irma that their purpose of helping the weak involves ringing the school bell. The day of the party arrives. As soon as the school bell rings, Asmodeus will set off their first firework. However, the biggest firework is missing, which turns out to be secretly taken by Kirio to his secret workplace. As the sun sets, Kirio gets rid of the necklace to make sure Irma won't find him, resulting in invisible barriers manifesting around the school, thereby restricting everybody's movements. Caligo starts thoroughly searching demons who can build barriers. Kirio loads the firework into his machine while Irma, knowing Kirio's ability of making barriers, heads to the secret lab. In a flashback, we discover Asmodeus deduced Kirio's up to something shady, with Clara copying one of Kirio's apparatuses, and with a school map, Asmodeus guides Irma to Kirio's lab. Suspecting Kirio, Caligo orders the teachers to capture him. Meanwhile, Irma enters Kirio's lab where Kirio tells him his plans of destroying the school and his painful childhood. When Kirio was a kid, he was weak with little magical powers, so his parents sent him to the Garden of Delinquents where he was bullied. However, he befriended a girl with a beautiful earring. One day, the bullies approached them and threw that earring into the river. Kirio tried saving it with a barrier that soon broke after Kirio let his guard down. From that day, Kirio fell into the depths of despair and wanted everybody to pay. Now, he longs to see Irma in despair after Asmodeus and Clara die, which is why he tosses the glowing firework to blow the whole school. Thanks to his ring, Irma activates it, catches the explosive, and tries sending it away. As it explodes, the students marvel at it. Irma's spell fails to penetrate the barrier, so Irma casts a much more powerful spell his grandfather forbid him from using, setting off the firework away from school. Irma faints and falls off the roof but lands on a barrier Kirio made. While Irma was confronting Kirio, Robin sent a warning note to Sullivan, who easily breaks free to return to school to find Irma using that spell. After Kirio is arrested, the party goes on and everybody's parents turn up. As Caligo gives the prizes to the winning battlers, the Magical Apparatus Battlers Club receives one, and Irma ranks higher. After Ball tipped him off about Irma being a human, Henry approaches Irma and asks if he'd like to return to the human world, but he is interrupted by Amory, who tells him how Irma is a great demon. However, Uruma does not want to return to his world. Later on, we're introduced to the famous singer, Krosel. Now that Uruma gets more coverage in the newspapers than her, Krosel is jealous. In her next concert, Krosel performs and is angry when noticing Uruma amongst the audience. Uruma has a ticket to meet Krosel in person. As he sits with her, she doesn't want Uruma to know she's in his school. But Uruma already knew, given how she rolls her hands into fists, tucking her thumbs in. Uruma admits he's jealous of her due to how she kept her identity a secret and that he's tired of standing out by chance, which infuriates Krosel, who passes out due to fever. Now, Krosel's manager cancels the show since it'll take days for Krosel to recover. But Uruma and Asmodeus dress as girls and perform on stage along with Clara, buying Krosel some time to recover. Amory, who's watching, suspects Uruma to be on stage, but dismisses it. After seeing Uruma on stage, Krosel finds him interesting, as she returns and takes back the stage and sings alongside Uruma. The concert was a success. Once again, Uruma outshines Krosel in the newspaper. Even though Krosel is furious about it, she and Uruma become best friends. Later on, Uruma starts worrying that he now is a part of the demon society, and it worries him that he's not worried about being a human amongst demons. The next day, Clara and Asmodeus cook him 2 delicious meals, after eating which Uruma decides that the Netherworld is where he belongs and his home, after all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps on all your favorite anime shows. You don't want to miss out. Goodbye.